And coming over here, this is not that far away. It's about, I think, 15 kilometers from where I was before. But the taxi driver, just like every other taxi driver in this country, has scammed me. So if you come to India, number one thing you have to be aware of is that you are going to get scammed at some point when you visit here. It's going to happen. You just have to accept that people here are going to scam you. They're going to lie to you. And unfortunately, they see you as just a number. You're never going to see them again. They're never going to see you again. And they look at it and go, okay, I can make an extra $2 or I can make an extra $3 off of this guy. And this taxi driver showed him in the actual Goa government taxi booking app that the fare was about 450 rupee, which is probably about $6 maybe, about 80 rupee to $1, so $6, let's say. And get in the taxi, and he starts driving, and we've been in the taxi for about 5 minutes. And this is usually what they do, is they drive for about 5 minutes, then they pull over, and they say, okay, you need to pay me more money. And they'll usually double the price. So they will say, you need to pay me 1,000 rupees, or you need to pay me 1,100 rupees. And I told the guy, no, I'm not paying you 1,000 rupees. The app said 400, 450. That's what I'm paying you. And the taxi driver pulled over and said, okay, that's it. So, two choices. You can pay up a little bit of money, get out, try to get another taxi. But since the taxi app was not working for me, then I could get an Uber. Uber would cost a little bit more money than the government taxi app, but it would get me there. Or I can just deal with this guy. So I ended up talking him down to 600, which still sucks. I mean, I paid an extra 150, so an extra $2 approximately for this ride. But this guy basically lied to me. And he said 450 was okay, showed him on the map, everything was totally PG. And then he just suddenly decides, well, I'm gonna try and get more money from this guy. And after he does that, he goes, oh, so you're gonna stay in Goa, how long are you staying here? And why would I tell this guy anything? I mean, he could have potentially had a tourist. I'm gonna need to go to the train station at some point. So he could have had a tourist actually text him and go, hey man, you know, I need a ride to here. Would you be willing to come and pick me up? I'll be glad to pay you. Or do a day trip or something like that and pay him even more. But he's willing to sell himself out for $2, 150 rupees. And to me, that's just really sad. Every taxi driver in this country has done the same thing, where they will sell themselves out for virtually nothing. It's a tiny little bit of money. And they don't understand that by doing so, they're basically ruining any chance that they have of developing a reputation, developing rapport with tourists. And they're essentially keeping themselves poor. Yes, you might make an extra $2 today from one tourist, but you can build a relationship with tourists, and these tourists come back. And I talked to a British couple earlier that has been going to Goa for close to 25 years. So you come back here every year, you have your typical driver that you trust, boom, you're set. You've got a friend from another country that can maybe help you out if you decide to go or whatever. They have a friend in Goa, so it's kind of a win-win. I don't think they see it that way. I think they look at it as, I need a little bit extra money today, and if I don't get that money today, then I'm not even going to consider having the money. Which is, hey, I get it. A lot of people think like that. Long-term versus short-term thinking. But unfortunately, by doing so, they're making it very, very hard on themselves. And they're making it very, very hard for India to improve on its tourism industry. As India starts to grow economically, more people are going to be coming here. And the scams are something that this country is unfortunately famous for. Maybe not at the level of Nigeria, but I have a feeling it's going to get there. It's going to get up to that level because you have all of these Indian scammers now that are saying, oh, I work for the IRS, or I work for customs, or I work for the police, and you have to pay your taxes. to me, or you have to pay this fine to me through gift cards. Otherwise, we're going to come and arrest you, or we're going to charge you more money, or we're going to do something that you're not going to like. And there's all kinds of these videos on YouTube of these scammers. Some of them getting caught, and the ones that, when they do get caught, are actually kind of funny. In some ways, you look at them and go, I feel bad for these people, but I don't feel bad for them at all. And they're the ones that are making their choices. They're the ones that are choosing to live the life that they live. And they want to steal people's money, then they deserve what they get when they get caught. So I think this country does need to, namaste, really try to limit the scamming and limit the actual problems that affect tourists on a daily basis. And the traffic and stuff like that, you can't really do anything about. You got over 1 billion. The scams, being able to limit the actual exposure and the actual danger to tourists is something that they can do. And then the taxi ride that I had a couple days ago too, in Hyderabad to the airport, I've contacted Uber, and Uber said they're going to take, quote, corrective action against the guy. So, the guy basically, I'll stop up here for a second. The guy basically showed up and got in the car for about 1 or 2 minutes, and then he canceled the ride. And by him canceling the ride, I have to pay a fee to Uber, and I think he gets a little bit of money too, because the ride's been canceled. So, this guy cancels the ride, and he says, you have to pay me in cash. And I had a little bit of cash on me. I said, I don't want to pay you in cash. I want to pay with my card. It's already done in the app, and if I pay through the app and I pay you in cash, I pay double. I'm not doing that. You get double. That's bullshit. I'm not doing that. So I got out of the cab, and this guy started to yell at me and protest. And I looked down at my watch. I had a flight leaving from the Hyderabad airport, and it's like, well, okay, I can stand here and I can wait for another Uber to show up. When it does, I have no idea, but it'll maybe show up at some point, and I can just write this off, or I can basically deal with this guy. So what do? Pay the guy the cash, and then as soon as I give him money and the money changes hands, he starts to drive like a maniac. So turns on his radio and starts blasting as loud as he can. I don't care if he wants to listen to music. That's cool. It's his car. When I did Uber, I would try to keep my music down a little bit, and I rarely took passengers because it is kind of a pain. But out of respect for them, I would not try to blast my music. They're the ones that are paying for it, and I want to be as professional as possible. He doesn't see it that way. So, starts blasting his music, and then he starts driving like a madman, weaving in and out of traffic, slowing down, stopping, speeding up, basically trying to show off like I'm some hot girl sitting in the back. And believe it or not, I'm not amused by this. This guy is like a total tool. So, trying to get onto the ring road, the main motorway, going from where I was, west of Hyderabad, to the airport. Go through the toll booth, and this guy just veers to the left, and he veers so far left that he gets into the lane going north. And I start talking to the guy, and I go, hey, sir, I think you're going the wrong way. This isn't the way to the airport. Airport's the other way. And then he stops. He stops on the middle of the ramp and starts to back up a little bit. And he keeps backing up, and he keeps backing up. And meanwhile, there's all kinds of cars and trucks and lorries and stuff like that are going around us. And basically, I'm thinking to myself, we're gonna get hit at some point. This guy's gonna back up into a car. Somebody's not gonna see us backing up. We're gonna get hit. Well, thank God that didn't happen. So, made that back, then made the turn, went down the motorway, drove for about probably 5-10 minutes. The guy pulled over, and then he takes out his pinky finger, he starts waving it in front of my face, and he starts yelling at me. And I have no idea what the guy's saying. I don't know if it means EST. I don't know if he's flipping me off. I don't know if he's like trying to show me hang loose. I have no idea what he's doing. But this guy starts going off for some reason, no idea why. And then gets back on the road, starts driving again, driving like a maniac, going in and out of lanes, weaving in and out of traffic, speeding up, slowing down. Meanwhile, I'm just kind of sitting there trying to record this, just to make sure I have evidence that I can send to Uber in case something does happen. And technically, he did cancel the ride, but at the same time, he is driving for Uber. Nobody else should be in this situation. He shouldn't be driving people, putting people's lives in danger by doing the moves that he did. So we continue to drive. He pulls off 2 or 3 more times, nearly gets into several more accidents. We get to the airport, and actually before that, so before we get to the airport, we go through another toll booth, and he and I agreed that the total price was going to be 1,100 rupiah for the whole way, including the tip, everything. So go through the toll booth, and the toll I think is 100 or 150, something like that. Not a lot, but he gives me the bill. I go, I'm not paying the bill. So then this guy refuses to move through. Says, I'm not paying the bill. You're paying the bill. But I'm not paying the bill. So meanwhile, we're sitting there. Cars are starting to back up. Guy in the toll booth is getting pissed. Gave the guy the money. He's obviously not going to pay it. So what do? I pay it. So I pay the extra 150 or 200, whatever it is, to basically go through and then go to the airport. And then after that, the guy's like, oh, let's go get lunch, let's go get tea, let's hang out, let's be BFFs. And you can kind of tell where I'm going with this. So anyway, get out of the taxi when I get to the terminal and just go. Had enough of this guy. This guy was the biggest tool that I have encountered in this country. He was a total piece of work. I would say more things, but I don't want my video potentially to get demonetized, and ultimately I'm trying to keep this professional as possible. I would never ever have this guy as a driver. I would never ever want to have this guy as a driver. Nobody should have this guy as a driver. And this really is one of the marks that's going to be left on me from visiting India. So keep going. This plus the naked kid trying to rob me so far are 2 of the biggest stains on India. And the other taxi driver today, that's just life. Like, I get these people are corrupt, and these people are not doing things above board. And it is what it is. Just chalk it up. It's part of this coming to this country. It's something that you have to know and you have to recognize when you come to India. You are going to get ripped off. People are going to want you only because of your money. And you can't let that completely destroy your whole entire idea of this trip. Because there are good people here. The guy that's running my hotel now seems like a really good guy. Met a couple guys yesterday that are really good guys. Met a good guy in Bangalore. So there are good people in this country too. But we have over 1 billion, you have 1.3 billion, 1.4 billion. I don't know what the population is now. It's massive. Most populated country in the world. You are going to have a lot of bad people too. And a lot of those bad people are in specific industries. They are in ways where they can get out there and just hustle. So by sheer numbers, you're going to run into a lot of bad people. And chances are there are a lot of good people as well. But don't let that completely ruin your reason for wanting to come here. You should still come to this country. It's fascinating. It's crazy. Would I ever want to live here? I don't think so. If you paid me enough money, I could deal with it. If I had enough time off, or I could leave, I could deal with it. But otherwise, it's a good place to come and visit and to learn about yourself and about the world. But coming here on holiday, Goa plus one of the resorts is not a bad idea. Otherwise, skip it and go somewhere else. So, I think I'm about to my restaurant. right up here. Look. Yep, we're here. So I'm gonna go eat. There's Jeans. You can see it. Perfect time to end the video. Hope you all have a good day. Take care. Make the most of your day. Do something incredible and make someone's day better. That's all for now. See ya.